Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss what is ecology and ecosystem. Many students get confused between these two terms, ecology and ecosystem. So first we will learn about what is ecology. If you write this word and divide it into two parts, you will find this eco means environment and logy means study. So when you are studying your environment, that is called ecology. Now what do you mean by environment? Environment is nothing but your ecosystem. When you are studying about your ecosystem, that is called ecology. This term was coined way back in 1866 by a German scientist, Ernst Haeckel. So he was the one who derived this term ecology. So now let's see what is ecosystem. Ecosystem is combination of abiotic factors and biotic factors. These are two components of ecosystem, biotic and abiotic. Now let's understand what is this abiotic. Abiotic means non-living component of any ecosystem, and biotic means living components, living organisms of any ecosystem. If you look at this picture, you will find there are many non-living components and living components. If you talk about living components first, you will see there are plants and animals like this rabbit, and some microorganisms, bacteria or fungi are there. So these can also be counted as biotic factors. Even these phytoplanktons inside a pond, they are also counted as biotic factors. If you talk about non-living organisms, it would be soil, air, sun and water. Even the temperature of water or the salinity of water can also be counted as abiotic factors. So now this is clear. Ecosystem means the combination of abiotic components and biotic components. Now let's talk what is exactly happening inside an ecosystem. So suppose this is an ecosystem, there are some abiotic components and some biotic components. An interaction is taking place between these two components and between biotic components and other biotic components. So how exactly is it taking place? If you look at yourself, you are surrounded by an environment. So suppose this is you and this is your environment. You will find there are many organisms around you. So you are interacting on a daily basis with other biotic factors and abiotic factors. So you are using this plant as your energy source by feeding on it. This is one type of interaction between biotic and biotic components. So some interaction is taking place between living organism and living organism. You are also interacting with these microorganisms, and again you are breathing air, that is abiotic factor. You are using water and you are also gaining sunlight. So these are abiotic components. So that means you are basically performing some interactions with other biotic factors and abiotic factors. So that is why this structure will be called as an ecosystem. So now this is clear. Ecosystem means the combination of abiotic and biotic components plus the interaction which is taking place between them. Interaction within an ecosystem can be of two types. First is energy flow and second is nutrient recycling. So what exactly is happening between abiotic and biotic factors? These interactions are taking place in the form of energy flow and nutrient recycling. But how? Let me show you this by considering a very simple food chain where grass is there and there is one grasshopper. Now what is happening? This grass is performing photosynthesis process to make its own food. It is using CO2 from air. It is also using water molecule from soil. It is also taking in nutrients from soil and performing photosynthesis process. After performing photosynthesis process, it is making a carbohydrate molecule or sugar. What will happen? This grasshopper will eat grass to fulfill its food need. So this carbohydrate molecule will act as a energy source. So energy is flowing from grass to grasshopper. This is energy flow. Now what will happen? When grasshopper dies, it will be decomposed by decomposers. So decomposers will come into picture and it will be decomposed by decomposers like bacteria or fungi. They will start feeding on grasshopper, or they will start decomposing this grasshopper. And what will happen? This carbohydrate molecule entered from grass to grasshopper. So this carbohydrate molecule is actually organic. So now what is happening? These decomposers are converting this organic part, organic molecule into inorganic form. So suppose sugar is C6H12O6. So they are converting, breaking down this sugar into carbon. And this inorganic part, inorganic molecules will be mixed with soil. And from soil again, this will be used by grass in the form of nutrients when it performs photosynthesis. So there is a continuous flow of energy and nutrient. So these nutrients are being recycled and energy is flowing from one organism to other organism. So these are two types of interactions which are happening inside any ecosystem. What should be the size of an ecosystem? So there is no particular specification that this should be the size of an ecosystem. It could be of any size. It can be as small as a drop of water or as big as your planet Earth. The most important thing is interaction should be there between abiotic components and biotic components. If this interaction is there within anything, it can be an ecosystem. So now let's understand how this drop of water can be an ecosystem. So suppose this is a drop of water, and inside this water drop there are many microorganisms. You cannot see them. Now what is happening inside this drop? Some interaction is taking place between these microorganisms. So these microorganisms are interacting with each other. These microorganisms are also interacting with abiotic components like air. They are performing respiration process, also interacting with the water temperature, or they are also interacting with the salt content of water or the salinity of water. So these all are abiotic components. Some interaction is taking place between biotic and abiotic components. Therefore, a drop of water can be an ecosystem. Apart from this, even a small patch on your hand. Suppose this is your hand, and this patch can also be considered an ecosystem. Inside this patch, you will find there are many microorganisms. They are interacting with each other. They are also interacting with air or the body temperature. So this patch can also be considered an ecosystem. In this session, we have learned what is ecology and what is ecosystem and what is the difference between them, because many students get confused. Inside this ecosystem, abiotic components and biotic components are interacting with each other. So interaction is taking place within an ecosystem, and when you study this ecosystem, or you can say when you study how this interaction is taking place, that study is called ecology. This term ecology was coined way back in 1866, whereas ecosystem term was coined in 1935 by A.G. Tensley. Ecology term was coined by Ernst Haeckel. So this was all about ecology and ecosystem.